Our fifth team to present today is PediCure, and the team members are Jessica Tao, Joshua Zhu, Jialin Ke, Jordan Gorelick, and Bryan Hyland. The time is now yours. Good luck.
Thank you. Good afternoon. We're Team PediCure, and we help older adults put their best foot forward with our toenail trimming device. Before we begin, I have a question for everyone here. Could you raise your hand if you can touch your toes? Just like in this photo. Yep, we all can. We're set. My next question is, raise your hand if you think you'll still be able to do this in 20 or 30 years. Still up for us, but our customer can't. So how did we realize this? I was raised by my grandma, and she took great care of me, from watching me take my first steps to teaching me how to speak Chinese. Fast forward to present day, and now our roles have completely reversed, where now I'm the one taking care of her. She needs help with basic tasks such as cooking, getting dressed, taking care of her own hygiene, including nail trimming. And it's been incredibly hard to watch her lose her independence more and more day by day. So that's why we built PediCure. The problem that we're tackling is that many older adults struggle to trim their own nails. This is due to factors such as loss of flexibility as a natural consequence of aging, or more limited vision, or an unsteady grip.
After recognizing our problem, we really wanted to go out and explore it a bit more and understand the perspective of all our customers. So to do that, we went straight to all the stakeholders. So Jessica mentioned the elderly, but we also talked to doctors like podiatrists who care for a wide variety of feet, and people who care for the elderly on a daily basis, like caretakers and elder care facility managers. And we did our interviewing here in Ithaca and nationwide in places like New York City, LA, and Indianapolis. In terms of where we went, here in Ithaca, we went straight to the aging experts at places like the Tompkins County Office for Aging. And we also went to senior gathering spots like the Wegmans Coffee Shop, Panera Bread, or the Ithaca Commons. Outside of Ithaca, we went to places like the UCLA School of Public Health and various individual practitioners and caretakers to get their feedback. In the end, we gained a really complete picture of who our customer is, and at their core, they really want to be independent and have convenience in caring for their feet. There's so many roadblocks to this, and as Jessica mentioned, aging is a big factor that leads to things like loss of flexibility or inability to use different tools. There's also the fact that they might need help, but they might not have someone in their life who they can turn to, or the fact that there might not be transportation infrastructure in place to bring them to places where they can get their nails cut, like podiatrists or nail salons. And in the end, the overhead cost of all those alternatives can be really overwhelming as well. So on one end, we have those really inconvenient and expensive options like the podiatrist or asking a relative. And on the other end, we have people trying to do this by themselves, but really distorting their bodies in the process and putting themselves at risk of injury. Ultimately, we all know nail care is really important to foot hygiene, but what many of us don't realize is that it also relates to fungal growth, worsened balance, and feelings of self-esteem.
Now that we had the problem, we came up with a solution. I'm going to talk about the patent-pending design of our product. We wanted to design a device that allowed our customers to regain their independence in trimming their toenails, so we made our product as intuitive as possible. The first part is a footrest that contours to the user's foot and is angled in such a way that it is very easy to see the toenails throughout the process. The second part is a collapsible arm that has the trimmer attached at the bottom. This makes it easy for our customers to reach their toes without having to bend over and allows great control over the trimmer. Originally, we wanted to demo our physical prototype on stage, but since this is no longer possible, we included a video showing how our device works so that you could look back later if you'd like. Once we had this prototype, we wanted to see how easy it was to use in the hands of older adults. To test this, we traveled to some senior living homes and had residents try using our product. Once they tested it out, they filled out a simple 5-point usability survey. All of our responses were either a 4 or a 5, showing that we have great market potential.
While we designed the product, we examined the market and competition. PediCure is entering a huge underserved market. We've chosen to focus on the 51 million elderly in the US since it's where we've done most of our customer discovery. But based on our interviews, we learned that the 1 million older adults in assisted living are not our target market. Hence, we have a total serviceable market of 50 million. We priced PediCure at $80 based off of A/B testing on our website to get to a total market opportunity of $4 billion. We looked at other products in the market and designed a device that has the best factors of each. PediCure is adaptive, handy, easy to use, and better designed. It's a more economical and convenient option, especially in comparison to services such as podiatry and nail salons.
Next, I'm going to touch on some of the financial highlights of our business and how we plan to become profitable. In our business plan, we created financial projections for the next 3 years. Like Jialin mentioned, we intend to price at $80 per unit, and based on our initial research, are looking at a COGS of $27 per unit. We realize this might sound high right now, but once we finalize our product design, speak with more contract manufacturers, and ramp up our production capabilities, we're confident this cost will also go down. By the end of year 3, we plan to be able to sell and produce over 2,500 units per year and bring in an annual revenue of over $230,000. We wanted to ground these projections in some hard reality. So that's why at the end of 2019, we launched our Kickstarter waitlist, where interested buyers could stay in the loop and know when we were ready to sell. In under 3 days, we received over 200 signups. So that's why we're confident when we launch our Kickstarter at the end of the year, we'll be able to garner at least 200 sales in the first month. At a projected growth rate of 4.5% based on an industry comparable, that means that by the end of year 3, we will be able to sell over 5,200 units total.
We're confident that we're the right team to make this idea into a reality. Our team draws from 4 of the 7 colleges at Cornell, and we complement each other's skills very well. I'm Bryan, and I'm a junior in the hotel school. I handle all of our startup finances, and I'll be working at UBS this summer in their investment bank. Jessica tackles all of our business development needs and draws from her past experiences at JP Morgan, and she'll be going to Google this upcoming summer. Josh is an InfoSci major who handles our day-to-day operations. He's also an incoming medical student who has connected us with all of the healthcare professionals that we've needed. Jialin is our talented product designer. She studies design and environmental analysis and brings in consulting experience from HLW and NYU. Finally, Jordan is our resident mechanical engineer who rounds out our talent with 3 past internships at Lockheed Martin. We are also so fortunate to have excellent advisors as well. James is a Cornell grad in the class of 1981, and he's also our patent attorney. Brad is another alum who mentors our team within Cornell's eLab Startup Accelerator. Our company has also been very lucky to have been funded and sponsored by the National Science Foundation, the New York State Department of Health, and Cornell's entrepreneurship programming.
Finally, I'd like to close out our presentation by sharing some of the milestones we've hit and where we're going in the future. Since 2018, our team has been hard at work to turn this idea into a reality, and it all began with a design competition with the New York State. They named us a finalist for our aging innovations, and from there, we've made great strides in our IP, from filing for our patent, making progress in Cornell's Startup Accelerator, and launching our Kickstarter waitlist. We were able to use our NSF funding to continue our research out in Los Angeles and speak with some UCLA professors about our company. I'm also happy to share that since making these slides in March, we've launched our website and are collecting pre-orders. Looking forward, we're very excited to move into the next phase of development, which means we're going to start building manufacturing contracts, break into the elder care business, and really just start to commercialize this idea that we are so passionate about. Thank you for your time. We're Team PediCure, and we help older adults put their best foot forward.
Awesome. Nice work, team. I want to be mindful of the other judges here, so I'm going to move through a couple questions really quick. If you could keep your answers fairly concise. So first of all, I think it's a really good idea. I like the target market and the value, but what I want to understand is what's your channel strategy to getting this product out to market? Like, where do you go first?
Yes. Based on our customer discovery, we started hearing from older adults that they usually learn about new medical devices either from other older adults, maybe in their same retirement communities, but especially from their adult children. So we identified people who may be taking care of an aging parent as our prime economic buyer. We hope to reach them starting with a Kickstarter at the end of this year, but from there begin selling in places such as CVS, Walgreens, and Target.
Gotcha. So you're going to reach this target market online, but then you're going to move into a brick and mortar channel to actually sell your product to them.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. So if that's the case, looking at your cost of goods of $27, you guys want to have this product on the shelf at CVS at $80, right? Is your retail suggested price. Have you done any kind of thought about what the value chain kind of margin breakouts need to be from where you guys produce the product and own it at your facility, then it needs to go to a distributor, then it needs to go to a retailer, and all those different pieces are going to apply their margin and markup to those. Can you speak to that a little bit?
That's an excellent question regarding our unit economics. Since our product design isn't finalized, it's difficult to get a truly accurate representation of how much it would cost by using a contract manufacturer. So I'm happy to follow up in the future regarding the breakdown of these costs.
Well, let's just assume that your cost is $27. Mm-hmm. From there, you know, Walgreens or CVS is going to want some kind of 30 to 50% margin. Your distributor is going to want some kind of margin. So I guess I would just go back and do a little bit more research in that area to make sure that you're actually going to be able to land a product that costs you $30 on the shelf at CVS for $80. Because I think going beyond that price point, you might be getting into a little bit of a really high dollar item. So I'll pass from there. Thank you, guys.
How many older people have you tested this device on? Because it does seem a little scary to trust it, that there's something that's going to whir and not hit your toe, not affect your skin in any way, and know when to stop, unlike people who do pedicures who rarely know when to stop. You know, what kind of quality, sort of pre-studies have you done with a large enough population to prove that it works, like that it works both safely and that people can quickly figure out how to use it and trust it?
Yeah, so I think I can answer that question since I'm more on the design side and I do a lot of the interaction with the elderly themselves. So I think testing is a heavy word. Really, we show them the prototype and we let them interact with it. We don't necessarily ask them to take their shoes off and put them in anything.
You haven't done that.
Sorry?
You have not done that. You've not tested it. You've not tested it yet in a large population.
No, not in a large population. We use the prototypes on ourselves first, usually to just be safe about it. And we're also in the process of changing the design. And especially in this year or so far, we've really only been showing the product to other college students just because it's hard to access elderly at this moment because of
Right.
coronavirus, and we don't want to put anyone at risk. But I will say that in 2018 and 2019, we did reach out to a lot of elderly community areas, and we show them the prototype and get their impressions on it and how they think they would use it. But we don't ask them to take their shoes off and directly, put their nail in.
Yeah, so piggybacking on that, our current prototype that we have is more low fidelity. And as Jialin mentioned, we're going through a redesign process, and we're actually filing a full utility patent in 2 weeks. So once we have that in, we will be able to produce actual high fidelity prototypes so that we can test it on older adults to make sure that everything works as expected. But we do have safety measures in our design to make sure that, like, as you mentioned, they don't go too far and hit their skin, and other issues that could come up like that.
And does that include hygiene factors as well, in terms of the maintenance and cleanliness factor that is also an ease of use built into this?
Yeah, so in our design, when we actually make the prototype, we have it so that the actual trimming device is interchangeable, so that you could replace the part once it wears down or gets dirty and other things like that.
I just want to add one more thing. This is our 4th iteration of this prototype, and in 2018 and 2019, we did actually show older prototypes and have elderly use them, and we were having a bit of problem with the skin getting caught and some safety factors, but we have really accounted for all the things in this newest prototype.
Thank you.
There's really strong players in the foot hygiene market. There's always something new, but they seem to have a lot of shelf space at the CVS or, Rite Aid. Have you thought about how you would get there? Plus, the footprint is quite large. Well, this one doesn't break down like your prototype, but you did show, not prototype, but your diagram shows that pole breaks down. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Holds up. So have you looked at that space? I mean, have you thought about how you would get that shelf space? Have you been to the end user, like a CVS or a Walgreens?
Yes. Like we mentioned, when we were doing our 100 customer interviews, we were learning that the older adults we spoke to, if they were purchasing their own medical equipment, were usually going to the CVS Walgreens type, but we also went to the medical equipment stores themselves, because we started to hear, oh, they actually go to these very specific stores to sell these devices. And when we visited the local medical supply store, we did see an entire shelf dedicated to only pedicure or foot-related health products.
Did you ever think of infomercials?
We have received quite a bit of feedback that this could be, and as seen on TV, very fitting for QVC. So we're hoping that in the next phase, once we start outlining our actual production and manufacturing, that we would be ready to start those kind of conversations.
On that note, guys, like, I think going to retail with a product like this at the size that it is, as Sandy mentioned, and the unit factor, economics factors we talked about, is going to be a huge challenge. But what you do have is a highly demonstrable product that you can show someone on video how it works. And that makes it a just great candidate for, Instagram, social media advertising. Send them right to your website and buy it, and you ship it, keep all that margin instead of giving it to a distributor or CVS. So just piggybacking on that, Sandy, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, we appreciate that feedback. Yeah.
We may have time for one last quick question from our judges, if there is one. Anything else you want to know? Okay, that will be our time then. Team PediCure, thank you very much. Good job.
Yeah.
Thank you for organizing, and thank you, judges, for listening to all of our pitches.
Thanks, guys.